I feel like the hardest thing for my parents is the fact that the things that they've known in their past and the things that they're dictated by is like culture and religion. And that's like really hard for them to like imagine a world where where I can be surrounded by a different culture and a different religion and still be okay. My background, where I come from, it's really rare for like a woman my age to like go off by herself in like a completely new environment.
Because especially here, it's difficult to let your daughter, not even your son, your daughter, to go out and to be doing something outside the country. It's out of the social norms. And even though Qatar is, you know, supposedly changing, and physically it is changing really rapidly, but it's sort of going to show whether the mentality is going to change.
They really have this like notion in their head that by sending their daughters out there, they're like putting them in danger, because I mean, like, it goes two ways. There's either the factor that they don't trust their daughters, or it's that they don't trust other people around their daughters.
Yeah, in Qatar, a lot of the reason they pull their daughters in is to keep them pure or whole or have their reputation clean. There is a lot of stigma to see girls outside doing things that may or may not be gender appropriate.
I don't think for my parents there's ever me moving out until like I get married.
I'm not sure how I think that they will always, until I'm married, they're always going to be in the position to override my opinions, but I think they've always listened to them, which is nice.
There's no such thing as when you're 18 you go do whatever you want.
I think like in the Muslim and Arab culture, it's almost as if the daughter is never free until she gets married, and even then she's not completely free. Technically, once the man has a job and stuff, it's like whatever, but for a girl, it's like she's always going to be under the radar.
You know, when you want something and you're like, oh, I should probably ask my parents about this, but then you start thinking about what they're going to say and you're like, oh, they're probably going to say no, so why bother?
When we argue about it, I try to be mature about it and be like, I really understand where you're coming from, but I think that you should also look at it from my point of view.
I never knew how to communicate with them, you know. They tell me what they want and I'd kind of tell them what I wanted. We never reach a compromise, and so we just drop the conversation.
And I think it's really hard for them to look at it from my point of view, because like they're parents and they want to know what's going on, and they have to know what's going on, and they have to like be in charge, and like the thought of me out by myself not really knowing what to do with my life is like a scary thing.
Okay, my parents, they always think of the future, you know. They really don't pay attention to like the present moment and what I want right now.
I think some of the reasons that Qatari society would keep on to its girls would be just because it's such an old tradition, and that's because of how it's pretty much always been.
I wish if they were gonna like limit my options, they shouldn't have put me in an environment where I can see other people have so many, because look at the person next to you, they're going out for so much and you have to settle for so little.
There's not a lot of fending for myself. Like, I wake up and everything's there for me, and I go to bed and like I know I'm gonna be safe. It's just not healthy for people to understand like what sacrifice is and what suffering is.
You have the family and you go to your grandma's every Friday and you kind of keep this tight knit because it's all this support system.
I've got to experience, like I have to get my heart broken, you know, and I've got to travel and suffer and like do things in order to like have those experiences and be the person that I want to be.
I mean, okay, if you start comparing Education City to like the universities in the States, I don't think it'd probably measure up at all, you know. But if you compare those to the universities in Pakistan, Education City is like, you know, divine. So, I don't know, I feel like Education City is kind of like a halfway point, and I'm going to be pretty content with it if I get in there.
All the efforts made towards like wanting me to go here is like out of love and like security, and like I really get that.
My life is sort of having to choose what I want to do anyways and do what I want to do and sort of prove to them. I mean, you have to show everybody what you want to do, because who's going to listen to you if you don't? You can't, I mean, there's one quote that's like, what you say means nothing, because your character is what stands behind and thunders while you speak.
I'm going to go out for a lot more, and I'm just not going to hold back.
I'm the type of person that's like, go after your passions.
I think I'm more of a person that keeps my options open, and I won't say that, oh, I can't do this or I can't do that no matter what, because I'm going to try anyways.